everyone. Thank you so much for joining us at Franklin Park Zoo for another Zoo to You. My name is Amanda. I am the Ambassador Animal Supervisor, and this Zoo to You is brought to you by MIFA on behalf of the Youth Fund College Investing Plan. So today we have one of our ambassadors who is a white-crowned hornbill. His name is Handsome, and it's pretty obvious to tell why his name is Handsome, because he is so handsome. But there's a few things that kind of stand out about him that we might have some questions about first that I wanted to talk about. While I'm doing that, Handsome has some fun enrichment he might be playing with too. But the first question we always get about Handsome is, why is he on the ground and why isn't he flying? So if you notice, he has those nice big wings, but he also doesn't have any tail feathers. Those are missing. And when Handsome came to us at the zoo to stay with us, he actually was owned by someone as a pet. Now, it's never a good idea to own a hornbill as a pet, but the people that were caring for him kept him in a really small dog crate, and he broke all feathers, which includes all of his tail feathers. So usually white-crowned hornbills have these long tail feathers, and he is missing them. So that's the first thing that people usually notice about him. The second thing people usually notice, and so therefore he cannot fly. So that's why we have this nice corral over here, just keep him in this space. Next thing people notice about him is that he is super focused on people, probably way more than most birds are. And that's because Handsome is considered an imprinted bird. So what that means is that he basically thinks we're all hornbills, and he treats us as if we are a hornbill. So sometimes you might see Handsome come up to me, especially if I give him some food, and he'll try to hand it back. That is a very natural behavior for a hornbill, a female, not just females, human females, but it's just something he'll kind of keep giving us food back. I'll take some food from you, Peter, and I'll give him some. One of the traits of a hornbill, which you'll see right here, he's really good at catching. He catches his food very well, but as you can see, he gives it back to me almost right away. So males, they have a very specific job, and they are here to basically feed the females, especially when they are nesting. So female hornbills, and this is specifically for white-crowned hornbills too, they will make this nest that is basically a hard nest that they go all the way in, and they are fully enclosed except for a small hole. And now the males are basically responsible for feeding them the whole time they are sitting on their eggs, and then up to when their babies are ready to fly out of the nest. So that could be quite a long time. So Handsome's initial instincts at all times are to basically try to give food, not just to me, but he'll try to put them in small holes, very similar to a nest. So sometimes I'll put my hand just like this, and you can see he'll try to pop them in. Sometimes he tries to find a pocket to put them in as well. That's also because it's kind of a small space. And that's how we like to provide a lot of enrichment with small holes and things that he can put his food in as well. So that's a very important part. So why am I having my hand so close to a beak? That's not always the safest thing to do with a bird, right? I know Handsome very well. He knows me very well, and I'm able to read his behavior to know why he's doing that. He's even going up just to share the love. So that's why I'm having my hand so close to his beak, is because he's very imprinted, and I would never do this with a normal bird. So to talk a little bit about his food, Handsome is considered an omnivore. So he eats a variety of different foods. I can actually show that choices. So we'll start with the meat. He has fresh mice every day. Well, they're actually dead mice, so that way they can't get away. But these mealworms and the superworms are live. And then we have a lot of different fruits and vegetables. So we have some leafy greens, some apple, banana, but he loves his grapes. Grapes are a high value food, and his raisins are great too. And then we have this right here. We consider this like a bird gel. This is made in-house at the zoo specifically for certain birds, and this provides a lot of specific nutrients that the other food cannot give him. So yeah, hornbills are fantastic hunters, even though they eat a lot of different plants and vegetation. They are really fast. They're obviously great flyers. They can see very well. They are really, those beaks are really important for them to hunt too. They are definitely a way to grab their prey. But the biggest piece of meat we'll give them is really our mice here. And oh, can't forget the earthworm. Earthworms are very valuable to Handsome as well. He absolutely loves them. Do we have any questions in the chat about him going? Ooh, that's a great question. So I would say newspaper is one of Handsome's great and best enrichment for him. He just loves shredding it up. That's why I brought some today. If you saw earlier in the video, he was shredding it up right in the beginning. He also loves this little kitty piano here. He might touch it while we're out here, but sometimes we'll just be hanging out with him and he'll just start playing. Hornbills are very social animals, but he's very focused on people. We have to provide him a lot of attention. It's basically like having a toddler forever. Any other questions before I move on?
Not yet, and you can apologize. We're having some connectivity issues.
Oh,
So just
no worries. Well, I'm sorry for some connectivity issues here. A lot of people will ask how old he is too. We actually don't know his age because when he came to us, it was a weird circumstance where he was owned by a pet. We didn't have that much information. He has been at Zoo New England for about 20 years. So he is at least 20, but probably older than that. These guys can live 30s, 40s, maybe even 50s. So they live a very long life. But we have no idea really how old he is. He's very healthy. Being on the floor is not great for him, and we have to really adapt to his abilities. But we are doing our best to learn from him and what works for him, and really making the best out of a situation that was really awful for him to be in. He's a great story about, responsible pet ownership, knowing what pet is a good fit, and also what is legal as well. Having a bird like a hornbill is a really horrible idea, and it's so fun to get to interact with Handsome at the zoo, and I can see why people would think they would be such a charismatic to their especially for exotic animals. It's to just come to the zoo, see the animals here, and then let us do all the hard work of taking care of them, so you wouldn't have to do that. Always love taking care of our animals, but he is never an animal I would want in my house for many, many reasons. You can also see he has those beautiful colors on him. He is forest in Asia, so he can be found in Thailand, in Malaysia, in those rates. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us on the Zoo to You today. Handsome does not live on exhibit. He does live behind the scenes, but he'll come out for special pop-out encounters, school groups, education groups. So if you're ever interested in learning and meeting Handsome, definitely contact our education department to learn more, and come check us out at the zoo. Thank you guys so much for joining us this morning.